This is Big 3 IGP.
Catch us in the league going in every week, racking them points up. Who got the streak? Cause we joking it, having some fun. Yeah, this how the crew getting it done. I'm talking Josh, Adam, and Connor. Yeah, this a command and conquer. Hard hitting, the IR's real. This football, yeah, you know the deal. Yeah, this is Big 3 IDP.
Of defensive football. This is Josh Raymer. We are back with another episode of the Big 3 IDP podcast, and I'm joined in the Sode Shack tonight. To my right, Adam Markham. To my left, Connor Raymer. Gentlemen, football happened this weekend. It's happening again this weekend. How are we feeling about the football, Addy?
Gosh, what a weekend.
What a great weekend.
What a great weekend it had to cap with that was beautiful. Just fantastic. This is what we wait for.
Having the extra team and dropping the bye for the 2 seed is the way to go. So hopefully that's something they keep. Random takeaway of the weekend. Props for what little I
like that. And I think we will. I think you'll see more of that stuff going forward where they do more graphics and stuff on the field during the game. I mean, there's, it was cool when you see any of the touchdowns and stuff?
Oh, yeah, the slime cannons came out.
That was awesome.
Did you like the slime cannons?
Oh, hell yeah, I loved it.
Isn't that what they called you in college?
The slime cannon?
Yeah.
Well-known nickname of Adams. Here comes old slime cannon. Watch out.
Sir.
Yeah, that was I think they realized they have to start grabbing some of these younger fans who are more into like watching people play Madden on Twitch than they are watching the actual NFL. So I don't blame them for going that route. I did love the 3 games per day. The Super Wild Card weekend was a big fan. We only got one bad game. Sadly, it was the Nickelodeon game. The rest of the games I thought were pretty fun, intriguing for different reasons. The fun part for me, obviously we talked about a little bit last week, was I was in Las Vegas betting on these games. It was a little weekend getaway for the wife and I, so I was in the stadium swim there at Circa in downtown Las Vegas watching these games. First day, it's around 60 degrees. Now, the pools are heated, though. They're like 98 degrees, so they feel amazing. But the wind was blowing through there about probably like 15 or 20 miles an hour, like blowing stuff off the chairs, toppling down the walkway type of wind. It was literally making waves in the pool and causing water to shoot up off the surface. So it was like a David Blaine survival magic trick type thing.
Was there a lot of people in the pool with you?
There really was.
Huh.
There really was. That first day, there were actually more people in the pool, and I think maybe they got scared off by that windy first day. Yeah. Second day was a little cooler. It was like 55 or so, but there was no wind. It was absolutely gorgeous. So had a great time. Really enjoyed it. Won my bet on the Colts, Connie. I knew you'd be proud. I did not bet the Bills in any capacity. I took the Colts across the board, won them to cover plus the over. So that netted me like $50. I was pretty happy.
I think both of those were you weren't a sucker like me and would have made that bet. I know you said you ran into a guy that did, and a few other people that had some not so great gambling luck. So let me ask you, you talked about the trip. That's just like every sports, especially gambling degenerate's dream. Not that that's what you are, but the ability to legally bet on sports is pretty cool when you're wild hard for the wild card. So what would be your number one thing on the trip that you felt like was the best
truly just spend the whole there? That's what we did. We went out and saw the strip the first night, came back, stayed at the resort the rest of the time. The food was incredible. They didn't have the buffet, but they had all different types of food. So they had an Asian place called 8 East that we ate at like 3 times. They had a Jewish deli that had, I'm not kidding, the best breakfast I've ever had outside of our beloved Mamaw's breakfast.
Of course.
We ate there every single morning for breakfast. They had an amazing steakhouse. Kind of reminded me of like Kickaroy and Smoke that we have here in BG, as we know.
Free ads.
One of our favorite places. And then even the stadium food. Like, you weren't able to take food up to Stadium Swim, but the food they had was amazing. So that was definitely a highlight because Allie loves football. She loves drinking beer. So she was happy in the pool for 3 hours watching the first game on both days. But she loves to eat. She's a big-time foodie, was documenting it all on her Instagram for her travel page. So I think just the way they set up this resort, too, it is brand spanking new. Just opened like 3 weeks ago. But it didn't feel like nobody knew what they were doing. When you go to like a new restaurant and they don't know the menu items, or they bring out the wrong stuff, or it takes 2 hours to get your food, or they just say, "Sir, we've lost your order," and the kitchen staff has walked out, so you're not getting food tonight. I know y'all know what I'm talking about.
Did you feel attacked in that new commercial when it says the waiter doesn't need to know your name?
Dude, I'm telling you, the Dr. Rick commercials for Progressive are some of my favorites I've seen in a long time.
They're great.
They are absolutely spectacular.
If you printed directions off to get here,
you're in the right place.
You're in the right place.
Amazing. No fussing, no cussing, and he just smacks it out of her hand into the trash can. Amazing. Cannot get enough of those. Hopefully they do one for the Super Bowl. I'm excited. But it is one of what I told Zach, our buddy Zach from the XFFL, and Connor, Zach as well, is he was asking, we'd love to come to Vegas. Do you think that my wife would like it? Would I like it? And I was like, here's the thing about Vegas, and tell me if you think this is true. You have to make Vegas what you want it to be. Whatever your poison, you can drink it. But you have to figure out what you want your Vegas experience to be. Me, I'm not a big casino guy. I don't need to go up and down the strip every night and go into all the different clubs and casinos and all that. I love sports, though, and I do enjoy gambling on football. And I do love lounging around watching games. That's my ideal weekend. Did it all weekend.
Hey, hope you enjoy hell.
Yeah, for real. Hey, the amount of money, I think they'll give me a pass on that one. I had some other good bets. They just didn't pan out. Connor and I had a beautiful parlay that went to hell. Should have never bet on the Titans. We were throwing our lot in with Satan, I guess.
That's the win-win bet, though. We talked about that, I think, last week on the pod. And I still want to get your 1 through 10 score on this before we move on. But yeah, we did make a win-win bet. Of course, we did a nice little parlay there with the Sunday games. The Sunday games.
Yeah, we went Titans, we went with Saints, and we went with Steelers. So
take your emotions out of it, Connor. Yeah. All about that money, baby.
If we hadn't lost on the Titans, losing to the Ravens, we would have lost on the Steelers.
Both of those. But again, they were like we mentioned before, the win-win bet. That way, if you lose, you still win. And if you win, you win.
That's great.
So, because I hate the Steelers, I hate the Saints, and I hate the Titans. So once the Titans lost, I was in full heel mode, and Cabell, our good buddy, who's a huge Steelers fan, lifelong Steelers fan, was at the house, and I was just I had turned at that point, so I don't think Cabell enjoyed watching the game with me too much.
And I was cheering for both sides because I had DFS lineups going. So I was up pacing.
Yeah, you were like, yeah, Browns, yes. And it's like, what are you even doing?
But you're right about Vegas, because that's the beauty of Vegas. And I mean, to be frank, unless you're from like a big metropolitan city, that's the beauty of any metropolitan city when you're going to go somewhere. Like, if it has pro sports, or it has that you can do like gamble on a certain event. You want to make sure you're able to gamble on that or whatever. Like any trip, just time it up with what kind of, appeases to what you want to do. And even of gambling or sports or anything, I mean, take a chopper and can go up. Go try this out
Those
there.
sites,
Go
shows are all shut down right now. Unfortunately, said it was my favorite trip ever. That's probably not true, but I will say it is the most needed trip I've ever been on, because this past year obviously sucked for multiple reasons. If your wife's a travel agent, it double sucks because all your trips get canceled and all the trips she had booked for people get canceled. Being new parents, this was our first trip that we got to go on without Pax. He stayed here and was well taken care of. So it was exactly what I needed. Just 4 days to kind of relax, unwind, recharge, and just spend some time, some quality time, gambling, eating, watching some football, Eddie.
That's what it's all about right there, boys.
That's right.
Speaking of eating, I already told Connor this. I'm going to blow your mind. I'm going to make you real jelly here. Went to Qdoba tonight and got the family pack.
Ooh, okay. What's the family pack?
I get a whole thing, a whole tray of beans, a whole tray of rice, a whole tray of chicken, queso, all of it. Tacos, tortillas. I get chips, cheese,
Did you get soft
salsas.
shell only?
It comes with like 8. They're all soft shell, yeah, I think.
For sure.
There may be, I don't know. I didn't open them up. I was doing bowls. I made bowls. So, but yeah, great deal. Family deal at Qdoba. I'm gonna be eating burritos for the next 3-4 days.
I'm super jealous. I didn't know you
the
could
best.
do
Try
this.
$40. I mean, it's just like,
That's multiple meals.
totally fine. Yeah. Oh, trust me, dude. It's we're talking like at least 5 meals.
Wow.
At least.
Because, I mean, the wife and I get Qdoba all the time. It's like right at about $20 for the two of us to eat.
Yeah. Here you go. Life hack. Everyone out there.
Jeez. How do you not have a fast food pod yet?
I know it's coming.
Coming in the off season.
Sure.
DF Triple S goes on hiatus. Insert.
No, I'm not doing any more podcasts, Josh.
Markham's Meals.
Yeah, Markham's Meals. There you go.
Good. Pretty good.
Not
Guess
a
I
bad
have
start.
to.
You will.
You just signed the contract verbally. Everyone heard that.
All right.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
binding.
This is what everyone would say to you.
I'm gonna shake your hand. I want to shake his hand.
You didn't run in that guy on the plane, did you?
No, we didn't. And if you haven't flown during, that's the one thing I wanted to bring up. If you have flown during the pandemic, it's the same. You just have to wear a mask. That's it. That's the exact. The wing back the flight there. So you being out right now. You're going to be able to see. So the other thing about Vegas too, I understand when you go to Vegas, Vegas, you want to you want to think about things. You're like, let's get
Yes.
best. Don't want you us canceled for some of the atrocities that were committed in Vegas. So we'll leave it at that. But yeah, this was a 10. If you're a sports fan and you are looking to go to Vegas, March Madness would be a great weekend. That's coming up. Go check out Vegas for March Madness weekend. Go check it out. I think, Addy, we had talked about in our Slack for the XFFL possibly doing that for a draft weekend. Go up there when college football kicks off, do the draft, fly in on Friday, have the draft Saturday night. You just spend all day Saturday gambling on college football and fly back Sunday.
It'd be a time.
Because the only other option that you could do it that would be really cool, it would be tough, and it'd probably be too long, but everyone could take and make like their vacation. You could basically fly in the Wednesday, and then you're there. Make sure going on and go enjoy Circa in down Las Vegas. It is amazing. Yeah, the Browns. I was just
Also, you have some Rams. You have, I think you had a few Rams. You had you had
Robert Woods. Yeah, Bobby Trees.
Yeah. So you had a lot of those guys that
Usually it would get I thought would get eliminated.
Exactly.
I was like, I'll just get them for one game and well.
it was 54 when we walked in like 20 minutes ago. So
Yeah, it's like 25 degrees outside. So
lights are flickering.
Guys, we're literally in a shack in Kentucky, and it's according to the old Apple Watch, it's 27 degrees.
Yeah. So
give us a
in
break.
Connor's defense, yeah, the heater should have been turned on. So come back in if you were watching on the stream and it was going in and out. We should be good now that the router is back on. But boys, let's talk some news. Big news out of Philadelphia. Doug Pederson fired. Seemed like things were going to be okay, but then we saw the tweets and the news started trickling out that the owner wanted to meet with Doug Pederson to hear his proposal and his plan for what he was going to do with the team going forward. Now, Connor, I don't know about you, but this to me sounds like the owner had already made up his mind, and he wanted to give Doug Pederson a chance to save face, but I don't think you're having that kind of meeting if the coach is safe. What do you think?
I do, and I think the owner was probably giving him, one last chance at romance if he was willing to figure out something with Wentz, and I think the owner essentially chose Wentz over Pederson, in my opinion. I don't think the owner wants to force the issue with Jalen yet. Maybe I'm wrong. Healthy competition at quarterback there is just like it is at any other team. It can help, produce and push one past the other, but it can also cause a lot of confidence problems if guys getting gun shy thinking, if I make a mistake, I'm going to get benched. So there's a lot there to unpack. I think it definitely lessens the chance that Wentz is out in Philly. But Philly's still a cluster, man. Like, no matter the fact that Pederson's out, like, it doesn't fix the fact that the team, really since Reich left after the Super Bowl, has started to have some serious issues. And it started there at quarterback, and Pederson didn't help his case. And, ultimately here it's got him fired. So the Eagles got some soul searching to do there in the NFC East.
Addy, do you think, two questions, do you think they find a coach better than Doug Pederson? And do you think that coach can turn things around next season?
No.
It's a mess right now.
It's a mess. I mean, they chose Carson Wentz, who I think is not good anymore. Although, I mean, there's clearly a disconnect. I saw where it was kind of like a mutual thing, right? So it sounds like this was Ian Rappaport said, after speaking with two people close to former Eagles coach Doug Pederson, it sounds like this is what it boiled down to. Pederson was sick of people telling him what to do.
Wow. Okay. I was just getting ready to say, it's never mutual when one person loses their job. Have you ever heard of someone saying, if they quit, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But NFL coaches don't tend to do that because getting one of the 32 big boy chairs is a really big deal. So you don't just give that up for anything. Yeah. But if he was just kind of sick of ownership probably forcing Carson Wentz on him, because you guys are right. I think they picked Carson Wentz and his like $40 million cap hit over Doug Pederson.
And I guess that makes sense. I mean, clearly things aren't, roses there with whatever's going on behind the scenes. So, I mean, I think, they're going to want to see what else Wentz, if Wentz still has it. We all look fondly upon that like 2016, 2017 season, whenever that was, before he tore his ACL. I just don't think he's going to make it back to that form. So, I guess you got to try, but I mean, that team's not going anywhere. That's a really bad defense. They don't have, the offense is pretty bad. Also, like, the GM hasn't been that great either. I mean, he's made
some bad picks.
Yeah. I mean, J-Jaw over DK. I mean, Jalen Reagor, I know he's been hurt all year, but that doesn't look that great now. taking him over Justin Jefferson and some of those other receivers in the class.
And they've just had so many injuries.
So many injuries. They've got these guys that are kind of past their prime.
Deshaun, Alshon, Zach Ertz.
They don't give, and this is probably an issue with Pederson, but they didn't give Miles Sanders nearly enough touches. But maybe that was because he couldn't stay healthy. I don't know. They need a complete reset there, but it's not anything that's going to fix itself, soon.
I think Carson Wentz is off that team. I really do. Even with Pederson out of the building, the need for quarterback. We were talking about that a little bit this morning with another news item we'll get to here. But the need for quarterback is so overwhelming at all times in the NFL that teams will look upon anything with any kind of luster or shine on it. Like you said, they'll look back fondly on the 2017 season for Carson Wentz when he was an MVP candidate, and they'll say, maybe we can get that guy. And they'll trade for him. They'll trade a second or whatever, and they'll work with the Eagles to figure out what the contract looks like, and they'll move him. I guess it depends on who they get in there as the coach, but I don't know. I don't think Carson Wentz is on this team. I think they gave him what he wanted by getting Doug Pederson out of town. We saw the reports the relationship was fractured. I think if anybody offered them something of value for Carson Wentz, he's gone in a heartbeat.
I think that's the best thing, though, for Carson, truly. I mean, I don't know where he would land, but if he could land somewhere like Indy, that would be just a perfect situation for him. But I think he just needs a fresh start. Although I don't think there's much upside with a guy like that. He'll get a chance somewhere. He'll get a chance to do his thing and probably lead someone to 7-9, 8-8.
Yeah.
Who cares?
What a great ceiling.
Yeah.
So fun. That's what you want out of your quarterback.
He wears those cool camouflage arm sleeves, though.
Yeah, that's true, and he does look like Connor.
Sure.
Stop. What's up with that with the arm sleeve? The single one that's camo like that.
He loves Allen Iverson.
That is, shout out the answer. That was him
Right.
and LeBron. Those are the all-time.
Carson Wentz is a bit of a dork, right? I think that he's trying to look, he's trying to look cool, but he just doesn't have.
Aren't most quarterbacks dorks, though?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say most of them are.
There's not a lot of drippy quarterbacks.
They're all a bunch of lambs, for real, yeah.
Yeah.
It is wild. We do look alike a little bit, though.
Just a tad.
You're
So-
hot, though, Connor. You're hotter, way hotter.
Way
Thanks,
hotter,
Bish.
Connie. Way hotter. So here's another piece of news that came out today that dropped some jaws. Andre Johnson, Texans legend, calling out the Houston Texans. So you can go read the tweet, but here's the bullet points that I came up with. Told Deshaun Watson to stand his ground with the team. Said the Texans are known for wasting players' careers. Said that nothing good has happened since Jack Easterby came in, and called the whole situation pathetic.
Where's the lie?
For real, where is the lie? He's just spitting straight facts, and it's going to hurt a lot of people's feelings.
I mean, I don't
Hurts.
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. What incentive does Andre Johnson, Texans legend, have to come with a flamethrower to the organization where he's already in the Ring of Honor or will be in the Ring of Honor? Maybe not anymore now. I don't know.
Oh, he has no incentive. Think about it. He's de-incentivized across the board. Places where guys always knew they could come back and get a job if they wanted to or needed to, or Ring of Honor type guys that had the suite anytime they wanted it, or the jet if they needed it for the owner. I mean, that was Andre Johnson. I would assume, even with as bad as the Texans ownership is, surely they can't goof up a relationship with a guy like that. But what do you know? It's Andre sitting here just putting his flag in the ground, saying, hey, turn and run, take it from a guy who's been here. I mean, if you're the Texans, you can't have this. This would be Marvin or Reggie or Edge or somebody else coming out and being like, guys need to get out of Indy. You don't want to play for Irsay. Can you imagine? Guys love Jim.
This is maybe their biggest star.
Oh, it definitely is. JJ Watt, if he said
JJ Watt's
this,
their biggest star, but Andre Johnson's like one.
He was their first star.
Yes, he was their first star.
100%,
Exactly. Unless you want to count David Carr's corpse behind center getting sacked like 170 times his rookie
No,
season.
we're not going to count
We're
him.
not going to count David Carr?
Nah.
Can we at least give him some? Can we put him on the Mount Rushmore?
original wedding ring during the game guy.
Oh, God.
What a dork.
What a dork. So, again, back to the dorks.
I'm telling you.
Just dorks.
Dork City.
But, yeah, I mean, Andre Johnson, you're going to hear this a lot. He's one of these guys that doesn't, talk a lot. But when he does speak, boy, them words, they carry weight.
Cortland Finnegan knows that.
Mm-hmm.
The fist carries some weight.
He knows something else carries some weight.
Yeah, I have mad respect for Andre Johnson. And I think if you're the Texans, this has to be, you would think, but because it's old, rich white men, they don't do any kind of soul searching. They just soldier on and wipe their eyes with $100 bills. So I don't think Cal McNair, the owner of the team, is going to change anything up. I don't think he's going to let this affect him at all. I think they're just going to march right on.
Who was the previous owner?
It was Cal McNair's father, who was the other, Bob McNair.
Bob McNair.
Okay, and we
Bob
remember
McNair.
all the mess that he got into with some of the things he said, about
Of
the
course. And I get the sense from what Deshaun Watson has said that the kind of racist, roots of this franchise are still showing a little bit.
He said he didn't like their approach to social injustice.
Yeah, the social injustice movement. He didn't like that they didn't interview Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy, the hottest coaching candidate on the market, didn't interview him.
You see, they're bringing him in now,
Are they now?
and that's
That's
pathetic.
pitiful. Come on.
See, I mean, seriously, what a joke organization. If I'm that guy, I'm like, hell no, I'm not coming. They're
That's
only
why
coming
Andre's
now.
doing this. He's saying, "Hey, just don't. This is who they are. This is the too little, too late crew, and that's what's going to happen to you." And I'm telling you, Deshaun is on a crash course for Andrew Luck 2.0. Andrew is bigger, faster, stronger than Deshaun. Maybe not faster, but you know what I'm saying. And look what happened. He is going to be out of the league or not wanting to play football anymore because it's going to zap his joy from him.
I don't know that he's on the Texans, man. I mean,
I hope not.
he could play hardball. That story about him wanting to go to the Dolphins for Tua, that's the most confusing piece of news I've seen come out this offseason. Like, where is this report coming from? Like, I really did. I almost Googled, like, do Tua and Deshaun Watson have the same agent? Like, where is this coming from?
You're not the GM, dude. You don't get to pick where you go.
Like,
you can
it's
put
so
out
weird.
like I would consider going here if I have a no trade clause or
you
something.
see that all the
but-
time. Would consider these three teams, but not would consider the Miami Dolphins for Tua Tagovailoa plus other. Where did you get that piece of it?
I also love how we've completely written Tua off.
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a sec. But I don't know. The whole situation has become even more incestuous with the hiring of Nick Caserio, who's good buddies with Jack Easterby, who is the shadow GM of the team. Make no mistake. You got to wonder. There's a great episode, Addie. I know you listen to the Roto Underworld pod from time to time with the Podfather. He has those great episodes with Evan Silva where they do a deep dive on a franchise that's super dysfunctional.
Yeah.
And they talk all the time about cocoon keepers. It's like Hugh Jackson was a great example, right? Of like these relationships within these football circles. It's like the old boys club, right? That keep people who don't deserve jobs in power because they're inside the cocoon. That's the Texans organization right now. I have to wonder if the coach they're going to hire, which the name I've seen floated around a lot, Connor, this is going to make you cringe or smile maybe, I don't know. Jim Caldwell.
To the Texans?
The Texans is the name I've heard floated the most.
Hey, I mean, Jim Caldwell's hated on a lot and the stone face jokes and all that, but like he was a decent coach in Detroit. I don't think he got a fair shake there. And then
He was fine in Indy.
Yeah, he was fine in Indy. I mean, he had some great seasons. Obviously, Manning helped that a ton, but yeah, I mean,
It's not a hire you're excited about, though.
look, he'll be structured. That place will be organized. There will be order on a team that needs its craving leadership and direction and someone to come in and say, hey, we've got all this talent. Here's our identity. Here's who we are. Let's all be one cohesive team. And right now it seems like, especially since this Jack Easterby guy, I mean, I looked him up. I hate him. I can just tell by looking at him. I hate this guy. So
Andre
he's on-
Johnson, not a fan as well.
Oh, I'll ride with Andre. Look, his trip to Indy wasn't great, but I'll ride with Andre. Ever since he, whooped Cortland Finnegan's ass in that game so bad, I'm with him big time.
All right, so we shall see how it all plays out in Houston. I like that the drama is unfolding in our own division, Connie. That's always a good thing. All right, Addie, you mentioned Tua, the latest mock draft from PFF. Shout out Macri, of course. Anytime we mention PFF, it's obligatory. I know this had our boy Lord Ratty stirred up in the Slack this morning. Had the mock draft from PFF had Justin Fields going to the Dolphins at 3.
Wow.
Thoughts?
I mean, why? But I also get it. I mean, we know that's the position that is most important. But man, I don't know what you're doing there. I don't know what it's. I don't know what it says to Tua. Obviously, it's not a good thing for Tua. But I mean, I just don't think we've seen enough from Tua to warrant them bringing in someone like this. And also, Tua's coming off the major hip surgery. He rehabbed all offseason, didn't get to spend time with with his teammates and
so it was a rough season for rookies in general.
Very tough. I mean, and when you have Herbert and Burrow who look the way they did, it makes it look worse. But I mean, this isn't the norm where guys come in and light it up like this. So I think we need to be a little more patient with Tua. I would expect a much better year two. Just that he has an offseason to, he knows what to expect. He knows he'll have a chance to work with guys, learn the playbook better. I think it's too early to give up on him. But I do understand. I mean, that's an extremely valuable position. I think you could still probably get a first maybe for Tua. So, you could definitely do that. But you could also go with someone really nice there at 3.
As I was going to say, I don't really have like a super strong take on this. My thing with Tua all year was I didn't see anything special. Like nothing that I would be like, but he did this really well. No, I just didn't get that. But I do acknowledge really tough year for rookies coming off the major hip surgery. So I don't blame the Dolphins if they say, of course, we're going to give Tua a year 2. This was a 2 or 3 year plan to get him in the building, and now he's here. We're not going to give up on him that quickly, especially coming off a major injury in the most tumultuous offseason in NFL history. So I don't blame them, but at the same time, if they fell in love with Justin Fields or Zach Wilson or any of these top quarterbacks, I wouldn't blame them as well for going the Kyler Murray route and bringing him in and shipping Tua off for a first-round pick.
You got to do that trade right now, though. If you're planning on drafting a quarterback at 3, you have to. That's where they're picking, right? 3.
3, yep. From the Texans, by the way.
Yeah, that's poetic justice right there.
That is.
But yeah, I mean, I think you have to trade him now because once you bring that quarterback in, that's going to tank. It's not going to tank his value, but it's going to. I mean, teams don't have an incentive to.
You lose leverage,
sure,
essentially, because they know you have to trade him.
So yeah, I think they should do it now, but they shouldn't trade him right now.
They should trade the pick.
They should trade get
and build
more
around.
picks.
Unless you just have legitimate concerns that Tua is not the guy. No, you probably won't have a pick inside the top 5 because it's what, pick 3?
Pick 3, yep.
So let's just say you miss out.
Somebody could want to trade into 3 to get Fields, to get Zach Wilson. You never know.
If Fields is there, that's a ultra valuable pick.
Yeah, if you're getting multiple first round picks or firsts and seconds, I mean that's something that if you're with the right weapons and considering we played musical chairs with Tua's starting role all year with Fitzpatrick, I mean let's curve the scale a little bit here and take a step back. I mean, guys like him did not get a fair shake. I don't think Burrow got a fair shake playing behind that papier-mâché line. That was just total BS with what he had to deal with. But, man, it was a strong rookie class. So I think Tua is going to have a future in the league. Now, what's it look like? How long will it last? There's just not enough tape. I would be – if I was the Dolphins, I think it'd be a huge mistake to hold on to that pick for Fields, leverage that, and build around Tua. Again, unless you just love somebody and think, this is my Mahomes and we got Alex Smith. There's nothing wrong with Alex Smith. He's just not Mahomes.
Yeah, that's true. And also, you have to keep in mind the Kyler Murray pick happened with a new coach coming in as well. So there was no loyalty there. Brian Flores does not seem like the type to me that's going to give up on Tua, but ultimately the GM is the one that makes the pick. That's like when we were talking about, are the Colts going to bring Phil Rivers back? Frank Reich wants him back. That's great. Chris Ballard's the one that gets to make that call.
Yep, he'll quarterback that decision.
So
as it should be.
That is what you have to keep in mind too. Is the coach has a big say. I'm not trying to say they don't, unless it's Bill Belichick, and then you're both GM and head coach. But ultimately, the GM is going to do what's best for the team. I think the most likely scenario is they probably trade out of that 3 spot. Pick up multiple picks, maybe move back a couple picks. Because at 3, the guy that you want probably will be available a little later. These quarterbacks always get pushed up. So let's talk about the next guy here that just absolutely set the world on fire last night during the College Football Playoff National Championship game. Heisman Trophy winner Devonta Smith. How high do you think this guy goes? And I'll give you an over-under. Henry Ruggs, who was the first wide receiver off the board in this past draft, when it picked 12, to the Las Vegas Raiders. So pick 11.5. You taking over or under for Devonta Smith, Connie?
Under.
I think he's going to be top 10.
Yeah, he's going to be top 10.
Yeah.
I was going to say top 5.
Yes.
No lie.
He just won the Heisman as a wide receiver.
Did you watch the game?
Yeah.
He was
200 yards
unstoppable.
before he broke his finger.
Yeah.
Was it a broken finger?
I don't know.
I heard he got injured.
He'll be just fine.
He'll be all right. It's
Yeah.
okay.
I saw he had the mask with the Heisman logo on there.
Yeah, that's drip.
That was a
big time.
major flex.
Yeah, Devontae's different, man. He is. I love LeBron's comparison of comparing him to two Colts, Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison. Jim Irsay was loving that. He was tweeting LeBron last night. So, but yeah, man, that guy is a different breed of receiver, and I think is definitely going to warrant, just like he did with his well-earned Heisman. I think he's going to warrant some of that earlier picks and what you typically see out of a receiver. But that guy's just a different dynamic playmaker that teams that don't have quarterback or big O-line, D-line needs. I think he's going to be one of those first skill guys off the board.
It was a great sign of respect from Devontae Adams, another Devontae. Did y'all see this tweet?
Yeah.
Said if you're gonna misspell it, spell it like Devontae Smith's first name. It's like that's a pretty nice endorsement from who I would consider the NFL's best wide receiver right now.
Yes, Devontae Adams is the best receiver in the league.
So here, let me give you all. Okay, so if y'all are both saying top 10, let's not take the top 3, or let's not take the top 2. Jacksonville, New York Jets, probably going quarterback 1 and 2. But you all give me the spot you would most like to see Devonta Smith of these top 10 teams. You ready? So you have Miami at 3, Atlanta at 4, Cincinnati at 5, Philadelphia at 6, Detroit at 7, Carolina at 8, Denver at 9, and Dallas at 10. This is easy for me.
Go through do 4 through 7 again.
It's either Cincy or Dallas.
Atlanta, Cincy, Philadelphia, Detroit is 4 through 7.
I kind of like Detroit, and I could see them doing that.
I love Cincy.
Oh, but Cincy's great.
yeah.
Give Joe Burrow. You got T. Higgins and Devontae Smith. Oh, my gosh.
Tyler Boyd, that would be dirty.
Set up for just years to come. That's beautiful.
Saw him on Instagram, Joe Burrow walking around doing therapy. He looks good.
He wants to be back for the start of the season. I don't think he will be. I'm calling that right now. I think he starts the year on the pup.
We're pulling for you, Joe.
I
We
want
know
Joe to
you're
be
a-
out there.
We
Absolutely.
know you're a listener.
I love Joe Burrow. Big fan of Joe.
Detroit makes a lot of sense, though, now that I'm thinking about it. No more Galladay.
Well, it all depends on the quarterback situation, though. If Stafford is still there.
But they're going to want to bring in
Cincy needs to get some O-line help. But unless they have money to spend on some veteran O-line guys, then that's fantastic.
they probably
but
should go O-line. But if Devontae Smith is sitting there, which he probably will be,
but they just went T. Higgins. I mean, they got
You either need to spend the money or go in the draft, because you just can't have this again where guys having ligaments and structural repair because he was on track to get hit, 70 times?
oh, more than that.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
say triple digits easy.
Yeah, I mean, that's unacceptable. And again, it was shades, just like Deshaun. Deshaun, a lot of his is self-inflicted because he keeps plays going so long.
4
digits, baby.
4 digits. Oh God, can you imagine? Sacked 1,000 times, just every drop back.
Nothing was left. Ashes to ashes.
I'm looking it up right now just because I want to see what the tackle market looks like for next season. Of
Trent
course,
Williams.
we know Anthony Costanzo just retired, which we kind of saw coming.
Appreciate you, AC. Great
Yeah.
career, brother.
Great career. Quentin Nelson probably shifting over to left tackle if I had to guess.
Yep, I agree with that.
We'll see. I hate losing him there at the guard position because he can just clear the lane for Jonathan Taylor, but left
Danny
tackle,
Pinter.
more important position.
Danny Pinter, we drafted him. He's a left guard. He can come in, and that's where he played, I think, at Ball State there in Indiana, and he'll hopefully be able to learn from Quentin. And I think Quentin had some tackle experience. And here's the thing. They may realize he doesn't have that, and he didn't want to do that, or a little bit of both, and look at drafting a tackle or addressing it in free agency. So when you got money and you got a decent draft pick there at 21, you can make some stuff happen.
Yeah, so I'm looking, Trent Williams, Russell Okung, and Alejandro Villanueva from the Steelers, Jason Peters, Cameron Irving from the Dallas Cowboys. There's some decent tackle options out there.
Okun got the Bitcoin bag.
He did. Half his paycheck in Bitcoin. Good for him.
Unless it blows up, then it's not so smart. It was
Then you just lost all your
tens
money.
of millions of dollars mistake.
It also is like an all-time high right now, so it seems like a bad time to convert it to Bitcoin. But,
Unless the economy collapses and we're all trading Bitcoin, Addy.
It's doing good for now.
Doing good for now. Well, let's talk some divisional round games, fellas, and we can speed through these, but just touch on it. Anytime there's football, we're going to be talking about it. It's a great 4-pack of games. I will miss not having 3 games. You don't realize sometimes how much you miss something until you have it, and then you're like, wait a minute. I lived for 33 years with only 2 games on Saturday and Sunday and wild card weekend. What?
Hey, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone?
That's the immortal words of Smash Mouth?
They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. That's Counting Crows.
Counting Crows. There we go.
Put some respect on Big Yellow Taxi.
I did just call him Smash Mouth.
Can we put that in the outro of this
Yeah,
epi?
put that in.
Yeah,
Put that in
let me pull it up on the board.
Yeah.
Beep boop, beep boop.
Can you sing it, Connor?
No, please don't.
Nah. Don't it always seem to go?
Guys are good.
You don't know what you got till it's gone.
All of our stream
It
listeners
took away
just
3
left.
games and only gave us 2.
Ooh, nice improv, Connie. Very nice. So first game, Saturday. Rams at Packers. Packers by 7, over under 45.5, boys. What do we think about this game, Maddie?
Man,
Packers going to roll?
I will say I owe the Rams an apology. I owe IDP Bob an apology. I've doubted them all year, even in the offseason when they lost.
I think I said they would finish 6-10.
Yeah, I mean, remember when they lost Corey Littleton? They lost Fowler. They lost other guys too. But yeah, they lost all these guys that we thought were major impact pieces. We thought it was going to really affect their defense. We thought their offense was kind of overrated. But that defense has been amazing this year.
Best defense in the league, probably.
Yeah. And you got a lot of that because of Aaron Donald. But man, they are doing something right there. I mean, their offense grades is one of the best graded PFF teams. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to doubt the Rams, like I have all year. But I'm going to do it again here. I think the Packers are going to win.
The Packers are so good. I think the Rams defense has a chance to slow them down. I hope Aaron Donald's 100%.
Yeah.
But it shows the power of superstars. Name a better 1-2 tandem for real-life football defense than Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald. I mean, those two. So that's the hope, right? Jalen Ramsey shuts down Devontae Adams. Maybe Donald can generate some pressure. They can, get to Rodgers and kind of frustrate him. I don't know, Connie, do you think the Packers cover that spread?
I do. Big tough guy move, though. Tip of the cap to both Aaron and our boy Jared Goff. I mean, Goff had, I think, 3 screws in his hand.
3 pins, yeah.
3 pins. So, man, he was going out there, man. He was throwing darts, too. I felt like he played well last week, and Donald, that's a first to do like a judo throw where he threw Russell Wilson, Mr. Unlimited, excuse me.
Also Mr. Incredible.
Yeah, he is Mr. Incredible. Yeah. But threw Mr. Unlimited onto him and said it like damaged his rib cartilage.
It almost looked like
I thought he broke his ribs.
That Russell's butt kind of on the slingshot slammed into Donald's. I thought he broke his ribs immediately because he went straight to the ribs and couldn't get up.
Yeah.
But yeah, how strong are you that you break your ribs with some other guy's ass?
Yeah, Russell's dummy thick too, so that was no surprise. But Packers by 7, I like that. If I had to say anything on the over under at 45.5, I'd probably take the over on that as well.
I think I'd probably take the under. I don't know.
Really?
That Rams offense with Jared Goff, I mean, maybe the hands better. Some of those balls looked kind of funky coming out, little fluttery.
He didn't look. I mean, he was 9 of 19, 155 yards. I mean, he was able to do.
He
some
did
things.
what he had to do.
Yeah,
and he gutted it out. Tip of the cap to Jared Goff.
Managed the game.
I was going to say, I guess I gave him more of a curved approach, knowing he had like half a hand.
Pretty much. I mean, think about your thumb on your throwing hand.
You're throwing for 155 after having 3 pins in your finger. That's not. That's pretty baller.
I think I'd throw for 1.5 yards with 3 pins in my thumb. I don't think I'd be doing. I think I'd be in the bed for 3 years with 3 pins in my thumb.
Yeah,
when I saw the original
me.
quarterback go down, I was legit concerned because I didn't think Jared was dressing.
Yeah, he was dressing. He just wasn't the starting quarterback, which
Who
is
was
kind
their
of
third?
weird.
Do we know?
I don't think there was.
Probably like the punter.
I really don't think
Should
there
we?
was. But it's always weird to me when the starting quarterback is healthy enough to dress, but not healthy enough to start. Like, remember when the Jets did that with their big offensive tackle, and came in the game and got hurt. And it was like, why is he out here? If he's healthy enough to be active, he should be healthy enough to start. And if you're worried about him, then just make him inactive. Yeah, Mekhi Becton, that's who it was.
Yep.
I don't understand that. But anyways, I really think Sean McVay just wanted to see what he could get out of John Wolford. I think he thought Wolford, pins or no pins in Goff's thumb, Wolford gives us a better chance to win with his legs. So, yeah, I think the Packers do cover. I think if the Rams get a perfect game and get some breaks, that they could keep this thing close. But, man, the Packers are just rolling right now. I just don't see it.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a monster Cam Akers performance for them to be in this thing. And Aaron Donald's going to have to be, making things happen. But yeah, I mean, they're just banged up right now, unfortunately. When you have all your main guys, Aaron Donald dealing with some issues, Jared Goff banged up, that's tough to beat a team like Green Bay, who is just on fire. At Green Bay, I'm with you guys. I think it's going to be the Packers this weekend.
Hot take alert. Maybe not a hot take. I don't know. I think Brandon Staley, the Rams defensive coordinator, who is only 38 years old, gets one of these head coaching gigs. I think even though he was like a relative unknown, not that long ago, if you're good enough to get Wade Phillips, a football legend, kicked out of town,
yeah,
you're pretty good. But I think Brandon Staley gets one of these jobs.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the hotshot offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers, Joe Brady, who was the LSU coordinator with Burrow, I think he gets one of these head coaching jobs.
Also like 38.
Yeah, maybe even younger.
Yeah, he's really young. He was a GA like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and with you talking about the D coordinator for the Rams, I mean, that's someone that Tom is just raved about this year and what they're doing scheme wise. I think they're doing a lot of just unique things. So yeah, I mean, you've seen that translate with how good they've been.
Yeah.
Is Eberflus gone?
I don't know. He'll have a chance, but you get these recycled coaches back in there. I don't think that you're going to see a straight round of new, fresh hires. I think you're going to get a Jim Caldwell or a Marvin Lewis recycled back. And I think Doug Pederson will get a job.
Oh, he will.
I really
it's not
do.
Going to take him long to land on his feet. So
yeah. So I think Pederson will be back in the mix somewhere, and maybe he'll do well. Maybe that relationship just came to an end. It needed to end. And much like Andy Reid going to Kansas City, he'll be revived by landing somewhere in a new spot with a hot young quarterback.
Change of scenery can do the heart good.
Maybe
and a better quarterback.
Maybe he lands in Houston with Deshaun Watson and becomes the Chiefs 2.0. I mean, who knows?
You're saying a lot of profound stuff tonight, Connor.
Thank you, baby.
Got that singing voice cued in. I love it. All right, let's talk about a game that I have less of a feel for, though. Ravens at Bills. What's interesting here, Bills only favored by 2. Which tells me Vegas likes the Ravens in this game because usually you get the 3-point home bump over under 50 points. Connor, you're shaking your head. What's up?
I'm SMHing because Lamar's never played in the snow. What's the weather this weekend in Buffalo?
It's going to be cold.
So
Did
Buffalo,
probably negative 20.
And they play on Sunday?
They play Saturday.
Did you guys see the Bills fan jumping off the table?
Jumping off the table or jumping onto the table?
Jumping. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. Jumping onto the table, but he landed like feet first. Like tried to like stick the landing on a table that was wobbly.
And
yeah, it's not good.
Legs at 90 degrees.
Legs all over the place.
Possibly deceased.
So this is a 7:15 game Saturday night, and according to the Google machine, by 6 p.m. that is a 40% chance of snow showers.
All right. That'll be fun. I love a good Buffalo snow game in prime time.
Lamar earns some respect. I mean, not that the Titans have, had a great end of the season there with how they played against them. I know we'll get to that, but I just, the weather-wise, that plays such a big variable to me. I think that's such a, when you talk about, there is no home field advantage with no fans, that's not true. Places like Lambeau and Buffalo, especially if you have guys that are used to playing in those just ridiculously cold weather like you could see here in mid-January in Buffalo or somewhere like Lambeau, that's going to be something to really think about, especially when you consider a guy like Lamar never played in any snow.
But got the monkey off his back with the playoff win. That's big. Because he was thinking about it. He was talking about it. He just wanted to get that win. He got it done. I don't think there's any other quarterback in the league that can make that run that he made for that touchdown.
No.
Absolutely incredible.
That was electric.
Hollywood Brown looks great.
That was the ball game after that run.
Yep. Yeah. Hollywood's had a great end of the season. J.K. Dobbins, if they can get him more involved, has looked good. Mark Ingram was inactive for this game.
Thank God.
Didn't miss him at all.
Big trust.
Yeah.
So, I think the Ravens, the defense played fired up. I mean, if you can hold Derrick Henry to like 40 yards on 18 carries, your defense is playing really well. And so,
did you see Vrabes and Henry getting into it on the sideline?
yeah.
I mean,
they were walking parallel, and Henry was kind of just talking. You could tell he was kind of mouthing.
Yeah, I was going to say, both were kind of not talking at normal room voice, which I'm sure tempers were high for two alphas in that situation. But
he was probably saying something like, why do y'all just keep running me straight into the line? Like someone said, get Henry out in space, let him catch the ball or take it on like a pitch and build up a head of steam and just mow people over.
Yep.
He really is. It takes a little while. Once he is like a car rolling downhill. If you have defenders meeting him right when he starts to roll, they can stop him because there's no momentum built up yet. And so, I don't know. I think
just like in the Pittsburgh
they
game,
did him
the
a
decision
disservice.
to punt at the end of the game
Yeah.
probably cost
Coward move of the week.
really was.
two playoff teams that would have won the earlier mentioned parlay bet there, probably if both teams don't punt. Titans and Steelers both, I think. So
I don't know, the Steelers were closing the gap. They were down, I think, 12 at that point.
Yeah, they were on.
They had all the momentum.
4th and 1 on their own 46, I think was what it was. Come on.
Yeah, it was said
We're
very
moving it.
well by Dan Orlovsky, former Colts quarterback, right? Wasn't Orlovsky there
correct,
for a little
he
bit?
was, yeah.
So he said, I thought it was a cowardly move by the coach. He said, as players, we want a chance to go win it. And why would you not put it on the shoulders of your players to go win it? Why would you take that out of their hands? I don't like that. Titans deserve to lose. Steelers deserve to lose. I like the Bills in this game. I think they cover. I like the over. I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair, even in the snow. I love Josh Allen. I love Stephon Diggs. That was my 101 in our fantasy playoff draft. I took Josh Allen, took Stephon Diggs, probably with my second or third pick.
That's great.
And so I think this Bills team also got the monkey off its back a little bit. You got to remember, they had that massive second-half meltdown against Houston in last year's playoffs where Josh Allen completely lost his mind.
That's right.
And so for them to come out, and even though it was a squeaker over our Colts, Connie, I think the Bills are feeling good. The Ravens are feeling good. It's going to be a close game, but I like the Bills.
Yeah, I like the Ravens to cover, or excuse me, I like the Bills to cover, and I also like the over in this one as well. I think regardless of points or whether there will be some points scored, Lamar looks like he's playing really well. He kind of showed that superstar streak on that run last week to make a huge play in Tennessee on the road, and continues to do things with his arm to improve in both areas and get that playoff win, which I think is just the biggest thing. You keep saying the monkey off the back. That's spot on. I mean, guys, there is that block. Until you get that first win, there is that block. And people can say, oh, that's not real. It is. It absolutely is. So hopefully that lets both of those guys, Josh and him both, play loose and give us a great game. I think that's why Vegas has it so close. But I do think Buffalo can cover that, and I do think we'll see some points. I would take the over there at 50.
Yeah, and I think it could be adding an opportunistic Bills defense that makes the difference. You saw Jordan Poyer all over the place. Matt Milano and Tremaine Edmonds were flying around. If it has to come down to a defense, I do like Buffalo to have its playmakers step up when that stop is needed or that big play, that turnover is needed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I see what you're saying. I kind of like the Ravens.
I don't blame you.
Kind of like the Ravens. It just feels right. I don't know. They're clicking right now. Lamar's clicking. He's playing great. We still haven't really seen Mark Andrews have a breakout game yet. I think that he could have a really monster week. But you're right, Marquise Brown's coming on. I like this defense a lot. They got Marlon Humphrey back.
Him and Marcus Peters are
really good.
A dirty combo.
They're just a really good. I honestly think they're a better defense than the Bills. The Bills, I mean, we saw they gave up quite a few yards to old Phil Rivers and Jonathan Taylor. So, you can do some things on that defense. We've seen it all year long. I like the Ravens.
All right. Taking
Peters
the
and the
Ravens.
squad got some dance moves, too, after that pick. I thought there was going to be an all-out brawl.
The Titans were just going to come rushing at him.
Yes, no joke. I was like, well, either at this point or after the game, this is not going to be forgotten about and just swept under the rug. But nothing happened. So
yeah, the Browns do not have a logo on their field, so they played it smart. Nobody could stomp on anything and dance on anything.
one step ahead.
Speaking of the Browns, Sunday, we're kicking off. Browns at Chiefs. Chiefs favored by 10, over under 56. It's the highest over under of the weekend. Browns on a little bit of a magic carpet ride right now, Connie, but I think it comes to an end in Kansas City.
Yeah, I think the Browns cover 10, and I'll take the under.
Take the under.
Yep, I do. I think the Chiefs will score some points. I just think there's always something to a team like this that is, and the Chiefs are guilty of this because I'm pretty sure Sammy Watkins put out a little bit of bulletin board material, kind of like they had against the Browns as the Browns with Juju and the Steelers last week. But he was saying something about how he didn't think that they would pose any problems to them and they were just going to roll right through them. So, you guys, you don't want to give these already hyper-competitive athletes any bulletin board material. I don't care what level it is, and it doesn't matter. Yes, it does. Just like it mattered in college when Clemson got beat by Ohio State. What were all the Ohio State guys saying in the locker room? You ranked us 11th? You ranked us 11th?
They pay
Last
attention.
night, Baker, as soon as he walks off the field, everybody in the tunnel, the Browns is the Browns. They're already selling shirts with that on there.
And he turned his hat around backwards
Yeah.
as a shot at Colin Cowherd.
Colin Cowherd. So, guys, they hear this stuff.
So many chips.
Yeah.
Whole bag of chips on that shoulder and get some salsa up there.
Yeah, so point being, with Sammy saying that and just a whole lot of other things, I'm just going to assume there's going to be a little bit of rust. And I'm not high on the Browns right now, but they're riding an emotional wave that I think they can cover 10 and point total again. I'm going surprisingly with the under with that hot Kansas City offense.
Yeah, it's the Browns are playing with house money right now. If they win, it's the greatest win since the team, since last week. Last week, this game on Sunday was the greatest win since the team was rebooted in 1999 after the original Browns went to Baltimore and became the Ravens. If they lose, they lost to the defending Super Bowl champs and Patrick Mahomes. No shame. That they can look back and say, we're building something special. We've got the right head coach in place. So I think the Browns are going to play loose. I just don't think they have the horses to run with the Chiefs. I think I'm hopeful we'll see the Chiefs take it up a notch and go to that next level with their offense, which is, I don't want to say sleepwalking. That's too strong of a term. But we haven't seen them at their ceiling throughout much of the season. I kind of wonder if they've been keeping it in reserve for the playoffs. We're about to find out, Addy.
Yeah, I mean, if the Browns are going to do anything against the Chiefs, it's going to be through the running game. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, just over and 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 over again. That Marshawn quote or whatever.
Yes.
And over and over.
Something about running through somebody's face, I believe.
Yeah, so that's what they're going to have to do. To me, though, it reminds me a lot of the Stephon Diggs catch against the Saints, the Minnesota
Miracle.
Yes, it reminds me a lot of that. Just the emotions of that game and that win, and then coming back the next week.
They just got flattened.
Yes,
by the Eagles.
Eagles.
Am I remembering that correctly?
Who went on to, I don't know if they went on to win it or not that year.
That if it was that team I'm thinking of, yes, that was the year they won.
But anyway, yeah,
we'll vet that.
Yeah, it's as a Vikings fan, when that happened, I was like, "Whoa, is this a team of destiny?" And then no, the next week I don't think they seriously scored. The following week they got beat by like 40. So I don't think that's going to happen on that scale. But yeah, I mean, I think the Chiefs are going to put up close to 40 points. I mean, we just saw that Cleveland Brown defense give up 500 yards passing to Big Ben. So yeah, I think that they're going to have their way with the defense. I could see like a 40-17, 40-20 type game.
Yeah, it was the Minneapolis Miracle, actually. And I was looking to see, they traveled to Philadelphia to take on the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC Championship game. The Eagles beat the Vikings 38-7.
So we did score. So that's
and
good.
they went on. The Eagles went on to beat the Patriots 41-33 in the Super Bowl. So I think that's a spot-on comparison. Obviously, one of the highest moments in Vikings history, one of the highest moments in Browns history, coming up against a buzzsaw and the defending world champion Kansas City Chiefs. I do think the Chiefs cover. I like the over slightly because I think the defenses, both defenses here, aren't great. I mean, you saw, I think the Browns still gave up 35 points, 39 points, whatever the final score of that game was. So I think the Chiefs are going to get theirs here. I see something like, 35-24 type of game, I think it'll be respectable.
Or something by the Browns at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
The Browns is the Browns.
The Browns is the Browns, as we know. But we love you guys. We love Macri and Sneeko and Mike Wollert, Mark Sessler, all of our friends. I'll tell you what, that had me buzzing, that game against the Steelers, seeing all the fans on Twitter and all the reactions. I mean, it was just cool. Like, everything felt possible if the Cleveland Browns could exercise their playoff demons by beating the hated Pittsburgh Steelers.
It was great. We were all rooting for them. It is wild how many Browns fans there are out there.
I know
right?
a lot of Browns fans.
It's so weird.
They have a cultish following, man. Just because they, of course, like you mentioned,
one of
they
the
were
oldest
rebooted,
teams in the
but
league.
Generally speaking, they're one of the oldest teams in the league. So, they haven't had the best, most recent luck, but man, they have it's kind of like the Bills. They have a devout following, so it's cool to see both of those teams, Bills and Browns both, some that have struggled and just seemed borderline cursed in recent years, be back in the playoffs here with two young guys. The AFC quarterback landscape, I'm sure you all saw this graphic, compared to the NFC, is hysterically just wonky in terms of age of the AFC quarterbacks versus age of the NFC quarterbacks. Josh, Adam, did y'all see that?
Yeah, the NFC was like 10 years older by average than the AFC.
Yep, like
Something
25 to
insane.
28 probably average age in the AFC. NFC, it was like
35.
Yeah,
somewhere in
35
there.
to 40.
Dragged up by the fact you have two 40-year-olds
Right.
playing for the first time in playoff history.
Yeah.
It's time, Tom.
And
It's
then-
time. It's time, Breeze.
Then Rodgers,
That's right. Rodgers isn't young. He's like
30,
36, I
yeah.
think.
at least.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So, last game, though. Let's talk about it. Bucks at Saints.
Part 3.
Yeah, part 3. The other two parts didn't go so well for the Bucks. I did pick them before the playoffs started versus the Chiefs for my Super Bowl pick. But Saints by 3, over under 51.5. I like the Bucks. They're my pick for the Super Bowl, so I got to go with them here. Not liking what I saw from the Saints against a really lucky to be their Bears team.
Yeah.
Should have, put that game away a lot sooner. Of course, they get the win. The Bears get the garbage time touchdown that covers up some of the stink there. But I don't know. I don't think the Saints are quite right yet. And, if the Bucks can get Mike Evans another week healthy, get Devin White back, I don't know. That's a dangerous team in my mind. I think they get it done, beating the team 3 times in 1 year, Addy, as we know. It's difficult to do.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and they're getting Devin White back. And Mike Evans, even though he was coming in that game hobbled, he put up over 100 yards. So, yeah, I mean, Tampa Bay is so hot right now. And then the Saints, they just kind of – I think they're still kind of filling the things out with, Breeze coming back from injury. Also, you're inserting Michael Thomas back in, so that's kind of like thrown the offense out of whack a little bit. Like Emmanuel Sanders got, I think, 2 catches for like 3 yards last week.
He was in that game?
He was in that game.
Did they slime him for being so bad? They should have.
Should have. But yeah, I mean, so they're just you want to see teams get hot here at the end, and that's what the Tampa Bay Bucks have done. Whereas the Saints, I mean, even though they're getting wins, it's kind of like they're grinding out these wins.
Yeah, nothing looks easy for
Right.
them right now. Connie, Bucks, Saints by 3. What are you doing?
I'm taking the Bucks. I think they'll cover, obviously. Over under, I'll take the over at 51.5. I'm like you all. I think the I think this Bucks team with Tom has been reinvigorated there, and I think having obviously Mike Evans seemed like he's going to be able to play, which thank goodness. I couldn't imagine them making a playoff run without a guy like him. And one thing I don't think a lot of people are talking about enough is I think AB is back.
Yeah.
Like back. And I don't know if he's 100% what he was in his prime years in Pitt, but he looks like a problem. And if that's the case, it's going to be they're going to be a real Super Bowl. Like I like them to win the NFC. If AB is back and Mike Evans is playing and you have Godwin clicking, then that is the Chiefs of the NFC.
Yep.
Just with the original Jedi Master instead of the new Padawan coming in with Patrick Mahomes. So I would love to see that, because I think he'll take care of Breeze here and kind of knock that off. And then he's going to likely see Rodgers in the NFC, and you're going to see the battle of those two graybeards. So he's going to have a murderer's row, not to get too far ahead of myself looking into next week's Epi or anything.
The Chiefs in the Super Bowl, their Bills. God.
I mean,
it's going to be fantastic.
Either way you slice it, all the right teams are still in it.
That's right.
So, it's going to be a
It's the
tough
best
road whoever
teams.
makes it. This is...
If Tom Brady can slay Drew Brees and then Aaron Rodgers and then Patrick Mahomes,
It's his best run ever.
Hey, I think you got to start saying this guy might be the GOAT.
Yeah, you got to
I think
start
you have
going
to
around.
think about it.
Yeah,
He's in the conversation.
yeah.
Right up there with David Carr.
He's top 10 at least.
God rest his soul.
And Carson Wentz.
And Carson Wentz, of course. How could we forget? And Taylor Heineke. Taylor Heineke was kind of fun. He was doing some things in that game, y'all.
It was great, though. You guys saw where he got canceled immediately after the game, right?
What kind of tweet did they dig up? I heard there was some bad stuff.
He's just a MAGA guy.
Okay.
So that's all it takes.
Was he hanging out with Nick Bosa?
He just kind of liking a lot of, conservative tweets and just being,
Will I get canceled for going to the Capitol?
Yes,
Other than-
Connor.
Yeah, Connor, last week, were you here? Now you were here. Damn it.
I know. If he wasn't, we would have had the smoking gun.
Or was it me?
Connor
Right, it was Carson Wentz.
Yeah, we had Carson filling in. You didn't even know. It was the exact same.
Or Macri. Macri looks like Connor.
Macri does look like Connor. So Macri also looks like Carson
Y'all
Wentz.
can't say I look like everyone. Like I'm not that like
we do as we
generic
want,
looking.
Connor. We do as we want.
What's going on?
Well, thank you guys for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We just wanted to get on and talk some football. We don't have any necessarily IDP nugs to throw out this episode, but we should mention, Addy, you are working on your Dynasty combined ranks. And we will have those for you all here very soon. We are excited to drop those. Sounds like we may have a date with Johnny next week, Addy.
I'm going to talk to him about that. That was something I was thinking about earlier, and I know I just threw it on during the show. But yeah,
I love it.
That makes a lot of sense.
We don't have anything else going on. We're
That'd be
probably just
fun.
going to do this again. So let's bring them on and build a lineup.
Maybe we can do like a Wednesday. I think they usually record on
Tuesdays.
Maybe are they still going?
I think they might be taking a break.
Okay, so it might be we make it.
We'll
maybe do it
see.
Tuesday.
We'll make it work. Either way, Connie, maybe come on. We can build some lineups of our own. I've been wanting to get in on this DFS
you guys
action
ask
for
some
the
questions,
playoffs.
and we'll teach you the ropes.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm green on it like I was with IDP, but I'm curious to see and get the ins and outs. And like Adam said at the beginning, guys, just because fantasy is over, don't be. And I did the same thing with IDP this year. It's fun to explore different ways to enjoy what you already enjoy. So whether it's going to the sports book and doing stuff that Josh is not obviously we can't gamble here in Kentucky, so of course we're not sports gambling here in Kentucky, but when in Rome, do as the Romans do. And just like with playoff fantasy or trying DFS and doing a little bit of daily fantasy or whatever it may be, there's plenty of stuff to still wet your beak here with some fun football action. So stay with us. I think we've got some fun nugs here before we get into draft talk in a few weeks.
That's right. Get that beak wet, Addy.
There's contests that are like 25 cents. Like you can play
Hey, that's
you can
cheap.
play for $1.
That's
Guys,
amazing.
Just put some skin on some of these games. Just see what happens. It's thrilling. You guys have seen me,
Lose your mind over
the
some
last
some Jaguars Bengals
He
game.
was
We're
jumping around my living room the other night with Chase Claypool catches because
you
he
go.
wet the beak.
You wet the
Sir.
beak. You should have seen me. I've never had more fun watching football games that I really wasn't super invested in than this weekend when I had decent amount of money riding on these games. It
Yeah.
just makes it more fun.
Do we need to make shirts that say that, wet the beak?
Wet the beak.
That
I
is
kind of
good.
like it.
That is good. And just you don't gotta jump all the way in. You don't gotta start putting $100, on these lineups and stuff. Just start in little and learn. That's just what I've done. I've had more fun as I've gotten more successful at it.
You've grown your bank. What'd you start with on your DFS this season?
We had $25.
$25.
I've made over $700 this year.
Look at that. You
I did
wet
this-
the beak, and
I'm
now
gonna-
the beak is full.
And next year I'm balling, boys.
You balling?
I'm telling you, I'm gonna hit one of these damn things. One
Ooh,
week.
you're
I
gonna
did
be
this-
one of those establish the run retweets where it's like I won $50,000.
Promise. Wait for it.
Ooh, I love it.
I did the same thing with IDP this year, and I had a lot of money in other leagues, and I played in this free league and really enjoyed myself and got to learn. So, I found a way, same thing with you have. You found your niche here in DFS. So just don't think so one-dimensional. If you've wanted to try an auction league, try an auction league. If you wanted to try DFS, try DFS. If you wanted to try IDP, try it. Get outside of your plain Jane, snake draft fantasy league that ends at week 13 and come along for this ride that is playoff football and all the fantasy options that come with it.
And get better. It makes you better. All these things make you better.
That's
DFS, you gotta know all the sleepers every week. Keep up with injuries. Everything makes you better.
And we got it right here in the feed. If you want to listen and learn and get better at fantasy, I learn a lot from listening to you and Johnny's show because you guys are talking about things I'm not normally thinking about because I don't have access to every player as a normal fantasy player. I have certain guys that I have rostered and certain guys I don't.
Yep. Same here. It's just nice getting to play with some of these guys you don't have.
That's
other
right.
weeks,
Yeah, get them on the roster.
keeps you sharp. I recommend it to everybody. It's so much fun.
Hashtag wet the beak.
That's what he teaches you. What do I teach you?
You teach me what not to do in Vegas.
Well, thank you very much.
That's something, Connor. That's something you should be very proud of.
Bless you. You're welcome.
That's right. Thank you, Quentin Williams, for that nug. And on that note,
I'm gonna shake your hand. I want to shake his hand.
we will get this board updated. That's going to be my belated Christmas present to Addie.
Addie's gonna do some work.
Lots more drops, and we're going to shake a lot of hands.
Shake a
COVID
lot of
style.
hands. A lot of hands. Well, thank you all for listening. Enjoy the football this weekend. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We will be back next week. We'll be building some lineups. Make sure you tune in. It's going to be a lot of fun. Until then, we will see you all next time.
This is Big 3 IGP. Catch us in the league going in every week, racking them points up. Who got the streak? Cause we joking it, having some fun. Yeah, this how the crew getting it done. I'm talking Josh, Adam, and Connor. Yeah, this a command and conquer. Hard hitting, the IR's real. This football, yeah, you know the deal. Cause it's all about the defense and the TDs. Yeah, this is Big 3 IDP.